Nigeria. Welcome to another engaging edition of The Melting Point, where we'll delve into the most pressing issues shaping our society. My name is SHARON MANDOR.
Nice to join you, Sharon. I am Enquiry. Welcome to the program.
As always, we're here to bring you thought-provoking discussions and insightful analysis. Today we'll be examining a significant development in the oil and gas sector. The recent peace agreement between the NNPCL and the independent oil marketers, mediated by the DSS. This agreement aims to resolve the ongoing dispute that disrupted fuel subsidy and caused a nationwide shortage. We'll explore the factors that led to the standoff, the terms of the agreement, and what it means for the oil sector's future deregulation and fuel availability in Nigeria. We have a public affairs analyst in the studio that will be unpacking the implications and addressing some burning questions. Good morning to you, Otuekun Donald Ekere.
Good morning, Sharon Mando. Good morning, Oselo. Yeah. And again, Jesus is Lord of all.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah.
All right, Otuekun, let's dive into it. Now, with the resolution now allowing the independent marketers to resume product loading, how quickly do you anticipate this will alleviate the supply shortages and stabilize fuel prices across the country?
First and foremost, we need to thank the DSS for what they have done. And I don't think this was a directive from the presidency. I think this was an initiative of the leadership of the DSS to see what they can contribute to making Nigeria a better place. And they have done a marvelous job by inviting the two principal players in the field to a negotiating table to see what they can do to make Nigerians live, because the primary challenges we are having in this country now has a lot to do with fuel supply, the availability, and we don't understand the opaqueness in the whole supply regime, or the supply sector is worrying to every Nigerian. So, but we thank God for what the DSS has done, and we believe that if this agreement is carried through to the end, I do believe that to a large extent is going to alleviate the sufferings of the people, because we need certainty in the area, and right now we don't have certainty. And again, we cannot allow a vital sector in the Nigerian economy to be determined by market forces. There is nobody in the world, no country, no nation, no economy in the world that allows its vital sectors to be determined by market forces. It doesn't happen anywhere, and it shouldn't happen in Nigeria.
All right, Otuekun, why do you think the actual price of crude sale to Dangote is shrouded in mystery?
You see, we could say, okay, you see, the challenges we have is that Dangote even himself said there is the cartel in that area. And it's not just the crude supply to Dangote, which is shrouded in mystery. And you talk about the offtake of the end product of this refining, which is still, especially the PMS, which is still shrouded in mystery. Till today, Dangote has not come out. The only thing Dangote has told Nigerians is that, look, we are not supplying fuel to NNPC at the price NNPC claims we are supplying. Okay, well, how much are you still giving PMS to NNPC? They have not come out to say anything about that, and NNPC has not been forthcoming. All we have heard is from the independent marketers, who tell us that this is how much NNPC is getting from Dangote, and this is how much they are trying to sell to us. And you know, which is it doesn't even make sense how Dangote now, how NNPC as a major player in the oil sector is determining, it's determining that they should be the only off-takers from Dangote refinery is absolutely wrong. Why are you doing this? And we have seen the reason they are taking the actions they are taking. When you look at how much they are taking from Dangote refinery and how they are determining how much they are going to sell, is really creating a lot of serious problems for us. People are talking about the different bills, is it taxes and all that they put on that money. Why should it be? Why don't the people simply go ahead to what do you call them, to Dangote and buy the fuel directly themselves, so that they can avoid all this stuff that you are putting on everybody. It is absolutely wrong. So even though they have said, I don't know whether it is true that they have given Dangote the 400 billion barrels or 350,000 barrels of oil they are supposed to give in a day. I don't know whether that has happened yet, because everything is still not clear. But all we know is that this is how much, even with the foreign crude oil that Dangote is buying, Dangote is still selling to them at a price that, if it is if they are sincere with Nigerians, if they don't want to make Nigerians suffer, they can still sell it to us at a price below 950 across the country. So that is the challenge we are having. So NNPC needs to come clear. They are not clear because of how would I say, maybe personal interest with everybody. The president is a minister for petroleum. Up to this moment, the Mr. President has not come, and not even his ministers. Look at it. Is so shocking that when NNPC wanted to settle, DSS wanted to settle this matter, they did not invite the two ministers, the Minister for Gas and the Minister for Petroleum, the Minister of State for Petroleum. They didn't invite any of them. They went ahead to call NNPC. What are their roles? What are they doing there as ministers? This is the ministry with more ministers than any other ministry. You have 3 ministers. You have the president as a minister. You have 2 other ministers, Minister of State for Gas, Minister of State for this. How come that a ministry with 4 big players there, you look at the NNPC LGM, Enquiry, you look at the 2 ministers and the president, and yet still, this same sector, Nigerians are suffering so much because of either ineptitude or whether criminality or refusal to be clear with Nigeria. So this is a challenge.
All right, so now that this is done, are there potential challenges that could still disrupt the distribution process? If yes, what are some of those challenges?
Now, you look at the challenges here. NNPC, I think they own or control most of the depots in the country. So at the end of the day, it is either those marketers who are going to offtake from NNPC, because Dangote doesn't have a depot for now, and I don't know whether because of the challenges he faced in setting up that refinery, he never thought that it would be necessary for him to do that. When you look at his other businesses like the cement business, even though he has depots across the country, and he has people that he trucks those things, and even if he doesn't have depots, cement depots, but he does have what you have, trucks that take this product across the country. So maybe in the mid-term, on the long term, he's going to look into that, because the NNPC is still the big player in the market. They own most of the depots. I know that there are some private players who own certain depots or the other, but the challenge we are going to have is that NNPC has the ability to still disrupt the operations of both independent marketers and Dangote refinery. So if we don't have sincerity, because the problem now is not incapability, the problem we have in the sector is simply the insincerity of the NNPCL and its leadership to do what is right in the interest of the Nigerian people, which up till now we are not seeing it. Because if it could take a DSS, which is simply a security agency, to come in to make sure that the NNPCL allows a fuel price to come down to a level that is manageable by Nigerians, I mean, then we are in for a very long ride and a very rough shot, because NNPCL is not, how would I say, is not a player that has the conscience or the interests of Nigerians at heart. We don't even understand the status of the NNPCL up till today, whether it is still a private company, whether it is still a public company, whether it is a government agency. We don't know that as of now. So as long as you have these players still there in the market, people keep on saying, oh, KRA should leave. Well, maybe it's the problem, or maybe other people are the problem, because even you look at the arrangement between DSS and the NNPCL, the DPR or something. There's one of those agencies that is in charge of the depots or something.
NNDPR.
NNDPR, yes. Now, I heard that the spokesman even said he's not aware that there's a negotiation between DSS and NNPCL. But again, to NNPCL, shame on you if a security agency could come and do your work for you. Shame on NNPCL.
That's quite harsh. There's no need
sorry, I know how you feel. Well, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has also committed to issuing import and off-taker licenses to oil dealers to either import fuel directly or purchase products straight from the Dangote refinery. Do you think it has any effect, will have any commensurate effect on the economy?
It is quite an unfortunate situation what the NNPCL, that's why I use the word shame on them. Now, why should you be issuing import license when we have a refinery that has the capacity to take out the whole West Africa, the needs in West Africa, even Africa?
Should we be depending on a private business?
Yes, we should, because
why should we?
By right, when you look at businesses, Nigerian government has shown that they cannot be depended upon. Look at all the government businesses we had in this country, Anamco, PAN, and all other, I think the what again in Kano, the textile factories in Kano, all of them have run down. They are all gone. Even in this state, we can talk about so many of those companies. The brewery which is working in Ecuador today is working simply because of one reason, and one reason only, and that is that it has been partially privatized, given to private companies who buy stakes in it, and the government still have stakes in it, and that's why it's working. So look at what NNPC has done. You understand me? In more than 2 generations, NNPC has never been able to give us a regular fuel for the 366 days of the year. It has never happened. So the idea is that we need private players in the market to come in and help us make the sector far better than what we are seeing. So for us to depend to believe that simply because it is a government agency, it can do well. Where has government in Nigeria historically has been able to give Nigerians what they need in terms of running companies? It has never succeeded. So what we need is more private players. That is all. We have, I think, another refinery in in Edo State or so. We have even smaller players across the country. So what we need is more players. You cannot have the 6th largest oil producer on earth that has not been able to have one working refinery. The only working refinery is what do you call it? Is a Dangote refinery, which they are not even allowed to operate freely. We are suffering here because NNPC is a government-owned agency. If NNPCL was not a government-owned agency, we will not be having this kind of problem. So the idea that we have to give licenses for other players to go outside and import fuel, I think it is not right.
No.
Still on this topic of deregulation, how do you think that these shifts will impact the oil and gas sector, particularly concerning the regulatory oversight, the price control and market competition?
To have, because right now you have deregulated the area, so what is the price control again? In fact, the company or the agency that is supposed to handle the price in the interest of the people are the same people independent marketers are fighting against, that you're making these things more expensive, trying to make a profit of more than 100 naira per liter, which is wrong. Why should an agency of government, which is supposed to be the regulator, be interested in profit making, while the independent marketers are looking at how they can make the price cheaper for the people? So the problem is really with the agency. You understand me? The price regime that they are trying to do is not in the interest of the people. It is rather in the interest of players in that area, which we don't know who they are for now because it's still vague. So that is where we stand in Nigeria today. So looking at the regulator now, the regulation or whatever, I think it's not going to work for the country. We need to allow this deregulation to go, since they say they are looking at deregulation. And I don't know, like I said, how you can allow a vital sector of the economy to be deregulated. This is the primary source of energy, and there is no growing economy or grown economy in the world where the sources of energy is not subsidized. We are not even talking about subsidy now. We are talking about allowing the market forces to determine the prices. Because if the market forces are even determining the prices of petroleum in Nigeria today, it will be cheaper than what NNPC is selling. If NNPC is selling at 1,000 plus per liter, You don't know that by the time it gets to a place like Maiduguri, you're looking at almost 2,000. The roads are not good. Cost of equipment to even maintain the vehicles are too high. Taxation on the road, you know. So by the time it reaches a place like Maiduguri, you're looking at up to 2,000 naira per liter, which is what we bought here some few weeks ago.
Exactly, you're going far. How about Akwa Ibom State?
Well, in Akwa Ibom, you know what it is now. In Akwa Ibom here, when the oil marketers, one oil marketer has a problem with his wife, he will come and increase the price of fuel. that is what we have. So you're certainly going to see.
That's supposed to be a joke.
You know, it's a joke sort of, but that is what we have been seeing happening in this state every time. There's a problem on the road, it will affect us here. A tanker is here, and they will come and increase price here. What has tanker being held on the road got to do with our buying fuel in filling stations across the state, which is what we keep on seeing, you know. And that is why some of us keep on saying that, look, you don't need to put people who have interest in the sector to be the one to regulate the sector within the state, which is what is happening as we speak. It is actually wrong.
Okay, this is Melting Point Monday on Memories 96.5 FM, and we are talking petrol, PMS, and petrol, right?
Yes.
All right. There are two things I have observed. First, the price that the Ipman is buying directly from Dangote, or the price that NNPC is buying from Dangote is different from what Ipman wants to buy from.
Certainly.
Different.
Yeah.
And there's something wrong somewhere. Why the disparity in price is one. Then two, Ipman threatened to down tools if the money that they have paid for 3 months supply were not refunded to them. And why do you think NNPC is confusing issues as it concerns funds, return of funds to Ipman? One, then two, they have not agreed to make it public how much they buy crude from Dangote.
This is the opaqueness in the area that we keep on talking about, and it is not. Before we used to feel, I am not here being a spokesman for Dangote, because Dangote business practices cannot smell with roses, you know. But the fact is that in this particular situation, you blame the NNPC for virtually everything. Number one, they came up to tell Nigerians that, look, we are going to be the only off-takers of the product from Dangote, and Nigerians were clapping, oh, this is for the interest of Nigerians. But it has shown that it wasn't in the interest of Nigerians. Are you getting me? Number two is that they have determined that, okay, the reason the price increase has no basis in the market forces. You know, there's no basis. We have not seen anything like, oh, this thing is fluctuating, or that is because actually they are buying from Dangote in naira, not in dollar. You know, we have not had a fall of the naira to say, okay, this is there has to be a corresponding increase in the prices of this product. There's nothing like that. You just wake up one day and you increase the prices of these goods. And then number three, you remember that these monies were paid for the former price. This is where these people are not happy with. We paid 15 billion naira for a price of 800 and something or so to off-take from NNPC that said we are going to be the only off-takers from Dangote Refinery. Why then have you shifted the goalpost in the middle of the game? If you have shifted, you should have waited for us to off-take this product at this price and then come back later. And then you can say this, but you are now telling us that this is now the value of your 15 billion, you know, has now gone down. And it is a wrong business practice. It is criminal in nature, and you can't keep on doing that. That means that they want to use that monopoly to make sure that they make as much profit from the suffering of Nigerians as possible. And it is not only, you see, one of the biggest challenges we have in this country is that there are so many government agencies that are not doing what is right. Recently, this is a social media influencer, very dark black man, was on the net telling Nigerians how he went to buy what do you call it? Is it an AC, a split unit? And he told the price. That he was asking them, why are these things this expensive? They said this is how much we used to pay for a container. The problem is with the container. Now they are paying 23 million. I said, why? He said, these people say you should pay in dollars. not only in dollars, but you pay in the black market rate. That is what customs is charging those people. So at the end of the day, you see that when this product land in Nigeria, they are far more expensive than it's supposed to be, and the government is claiming we are making more money from this. On who is actually going to pay for the money you're making? At the end of the day, the increase in revenue is passed on to state government and the federal government, and they share it among themselves. Meanwhile, the high cost of these things, the importer will now shift it on the end user. Me and you, when we go to market to buy phone, to buy this, we are paying far higher, and we don't understand why these things are still this expensive. It is because of this kind of practices that government agencies are doing, and that's exactly what NNPCL is equally doing. You simply increase prices of things arbitrarily. You just wake up one day and say this is how much you're going to pay, and make sure that you are the only person who can determine the price. That is a worse form of monopoly. You understand me? You're making Nigerians suffer. And again, I thank God for the DSS that stepped into that matter to do that thing. And again, I say to other agencies like the police, like the immigration, like the NSCD, there are things you're supposed to do in the interest of the Nigerian people. Your primary loyalty is to the Constitution. Why don't you act as such?
All right, still on this note of the NNPCL increasing the price and saying we're not going to release your petrol until you give us the balance, should there be stricter financial policies or regulations to ensure that companies like the NNPCL compensate for delays in service delivery?
You see, the truth of the matter is that those laws are there. You understand me? But the problem is going to implement the law. If the man, now, I was watching a pastor yesterday, he said, whenever they tell you go to court, they know that they have the judiciary in their pocket. And that is what is happening. And there's a popular saying, he said, when a criminal tells you go to court, you understand me, that he knows that his senior brother is a judge. You see the point? So that is the challenge we are having. Who can take a behemoth like NNPCL to court and succeed is going to be very, very difficult. If not for the independent marketers coming together now to say, we are going to down tools, and they now see that this game we have been playing is going to create a lot more challenges for the country, and that is how they have accepted to come into that negotiation. If not so, they will not. If it is one independent marketer that maybe had given them 1 or 2 billion, they will not answer the person. So it has to take this group of persons, which I thank God for them. This has happened. They have decided that this is the route they need to take, to make sure that they feel. We don't know whether even Dangote is even behind that, because at the end of the day, Dangote refinery borrowed billions of dollars, not naira. You understand me? To put that refinery in place. If you cannot pay back, if Nigerians are not off-taking your product, you are not going to be able to pay back the loan. You understand me? So it could even be that he's even partially supporting what the independent marketers are saying, But the challenge I have with independent marketers again is this: you're saying you want to go and import what? We have enough of those things. All you need to do is get the rules and regulations right, so that it can be made good for you to off-take this directly, and a very flexible approach, a very flexible style. Make it easy for you to simply go there, buy your product and sell it at the price you want to. Even if you have to go to NNPC, who will still be off-taking from Dangote too, you understand me, you can buy it at a good price. Instead of this wrong arrangement that NNPCL is doing.
Okay, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has urged President Bola Tinubu to direct NNPCL to immediately reverse the second increase in petrol prices in 1 month, pending the hearing and determination of a suit before the Federal High Court Abuja, challenging the legality of the powers of the NNPCL to increase petrol prices. What do you expect of this court injunction?
You see, it is very, very wrong. Just like Sarah has said, why should you? What powers have you? How did you get these powers? Which law, which decree gave you the power to be the single off-taker of product from a major refinery like that? You're equally a player. Forget about other aspects of NNPC. You could say, okay, for this thing we supply to you, the crude oil, give us our crude oil in form of petrol back. You understand me? At least to a certain level. But for a major product, for a vital product like that in the Nigerian economy, you understand, it is very wrong. Now, NNPC doesn't even have that kind of power backed up by law. for them to simply go to Dangote and say we are going to be the only people to do it. It's wrong. There's no law supporting them. It is anti-competition. You understand? When you look at our competition laws, you now see that what NNPC is doing is completely wrong. You know, it doesn't have. The only thing is that Nigerians will simply keep quiet. We are docile. We allow them to do whatever they want to. But I thank God now that Serap has taken that matter up. They don't have the right. So they shouldn't be the sole determinant of who takes from NNPC. Let them take. If they say, okay, let us reduce our price, let us subsidize, let us not add those charges, that is fine. But for them to be the single off-takers, it is criminal. It is wrong. It is not in the law. There's no law supporting or backing NNPC at that. They simply assume that kind of crucial role when they don't have the backing by law. It's wrong.
All right, let's talk solutions, Sharon. Given the recurrent disputes in this sector, what would you say would be the structural reforms or even changes to the existing agreements that could help prevent future conflicts over pricing and supply issues or whatever issue that we have in this sector? Talk to us.
Well, you see, the challenge we are having, the future challenges to this structural arrangement, you see, it is simply, I will simply say this, that NNPCL is its own problem. NNPCL is Nigeria's problem. I've said it here in this studio that on the day we will sit down in this country to take stock of the corruption in NNPCL, I will tell every Nigerian to sit down, because if they are standing up, you know, I do believe that many people will faint, because people are talking about what is going on in Central Bank. It is not compared with what you see in NNPCL. There's so much corruption. What you see in the downstream sector is just a tip of the iceberg. Go to the upstream and see what is going on. You see the criminality happening in that sector, and all of them supervised by this one agency. You know, that is the problem we have. So NNPCL should not be allowed, and the Nigerian economy is too big for one agency to control. And NNPCL should not be allowed to be the only players in that sector, because they are proven to Nigerians that, look, we cannot do it. Now, we've been hearing issues of let us unbundle NNPCL. They claim they have done it, and up to today it has not been done. Number one, NNPC needs to be unbundled and given and separated, not under any one body. You know, there should not be anything like group GMT. The downstream sector should be different from the upstream sector, you know, and they should have different MDs, and it should be a minister of petroleum to control it. And then the downstream sector should be well managed to make sure that, look, Nigerians get what they really expect from NNPC. This is the challenges we are having. So to